In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the upcoming pattern. There is a few interesting storms that I want to track across the central states. We talked about this yesterday, but there's even an extra one in there somewhere. We do have our first potential tropical disturbance out there in the Atlantic, which is extremely early, being only April 25th. And we're going to go over the temperature pattern as well as those SPC Storm Prediction Center outlooks towards the end of the video, so stay tuned for all of that. Let's dive into things, and as we take a look at later on this evening, what we see is a 991 located near Colorado. We see some showers, some snow showers across the four corner states and the Rockies here out west. We also see a lot of activity up there for the Northwest, so activity is overall on the uptick out west. We even have a couple of 1,001 millibar up there to the north, 1,004 down here to the south, and then your 991 down here. So there's multiple areas of low pressure out west contributing to this above average activity. I would be on the lookout for thunderstorms and severe weather here to the east of this low here, as we have a lot of humidity, a lot of warmth, and things are looking to surge as far as severe weather is concerned. Again, we will take a look at that Storm Prediction Center outlook at the end of this video. Let's move towards tomorrow on Friday the 26th here, and what we see is this low is even dropping lower in pressure as a 986 millibar low pressure center over Nebraska. We do see these kind of cold front characteristics, warm front up here to the north, and this is allowing for warm air to just surge towards the north here, especially across your Ohio Valley, Great Lakes, and into Canada areas, as well as the deep south. So expect very warm and very humid conditions compared to what's typical for this time of year. With colder air kind of diving in behind this system, this is very common with these stronger lows. And this is what's creating the instability along this cold front, is that very brutal cold and dry air moving behind this and pushing this cold front, with the warmth and humidity just surging northward out ahead of all of this activity. Hence the cold. I mean, we can see a lot of snowfall happening here for the Sierra Nevada, Rockies here, among other mountain regions out west. So definitely some snowy conditions still persisting here through late April, which isn't too surprising. This isn't too crazy, but we should see it slowing down here over the coming weeks. As we keep going towards Saturday afternoon here on April 27th, we do see a 995 now starting up for Kansas, which will be our next big low pressure system across the central states. We do see 1,000 millibar low pressure system moving out. This was all the way down into the 980s the day prior. So this one is weakening very quickly. We do still have a bit of a warm front here for a lot of Canada and some of the northeastern states here, causing some warmer conditions, and overall heavy rainfall along that band should be expected overall. But the main corridor for severe weather here on Saturday the 27th is going to be here Texas, Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas there. So we see these areas dealing with the thunderstorms out ahead of this low. And as this low builds, we see even more cold air moving southward across the Rockies, which is allowing for even more snowfall to target these areas along states like Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, Utah, Colorado, Arizona, and New Mexico. All of these states seeing quite a bit of heavy snowfall as this low is very close by. Personally, I feel like we've been seeing lows like this for months now, originating in Colorado almost every time and moving kind of towards the east, northeast from that point, creating severe weather. It's interesting how we've been stuck in a similar pattern all this time. By Sunday, we see that this one actually weakens from that kind of Colorado area northward. So we see it all the way down to a 1,001 actually there over Nebraska or Kansas there. We still have a pretty defined cold front down here, so expect severe weather to persist for states like Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Iowa, Missouri, Arkansas, and Louisiana. These areas should continue to see thunderstorms and severe weather. To the north of this low, we do see quite a bit of showers and heavier rainfall along that kind of warm front or nearby the low. This is definitely an area of consistent rainfall that we do expect to see. Shouldn't be too much severe weather up there to the north, but definitely could be impactful as far as that rainfall is concerned. By Monday, we see this low is moving even further northward up towards Canada. We do see this kind of cold front kind of lingering back behind still, impacting areas like the deeper south still. through portions of the Midwest, Ohio Valley, and Great Lakes. There could be some severe weather along that, although this is getting towards the longer range, so be sure to take it with a grain of salt, but definitely could see some day 4, I guess it would be, severe weather taking place. For the Northwest, we're seeing even more snowfall for those Cascades and Northern Rockies as we just continue to see some low pressure systems nearby, probably some offshore there that we can't see on screen right now, that are definitely contributing to that activity. Let's take it towards Tuesday here on the 30th, and what we end up seeing is this thunderstorm activity and showers are now kind of located from the deeper south central states through the southeast, mid-Atlantic, and northeast, so they're kind of strung along the eastern and Gulf seaboards there, with quite a bit of warmth over the southwest, actually, I would say is the biggest thing here, and this is causing a lot of your storms to move over this area, which is pretty much the opposite of what we've been seeing. We've been kind of seeing free-flowing low pressure systems move through the west here as there's really been no warmth in the way. So we've been seeing those low pressure systems just bombard this area. But with this area of warmth and perhaps even higher pressure trying to set up over the southwest, this could set in a new pattern where we see these storms moving over top. Definitely not a sure thing, but it would be interesting to see if that does take place or not over time. For Wednesday, we kind of see the trend continue as there's still some warmth here for the southwest. We see a lot of your impacts up to the north here with some snowfall for Idaho, Montana, and Wyoming, and then more rainfall and thunderstorms for northern Colorado, Nebraska, South Dakota, and even Kansas there. We do have a 1,003 millibar low pressure center over Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas. And again, this is also kind of contributing to these heavier showers or thunderstorms across the plains and Midwest, even extending into the Ohio Valley a bit as well. Let's take this towards Thursday, the 2nd, better yet, of May. We see 1,005 there nearby northeastern Missouri. I would expect thunderstorm activity to the south of this one for Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, with more of a warm front impact out to the east here for the Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, and northeast. Let's take this even further towards the 3rd here of May, and we see that this low is strengthening, perhaps down to a 993 over Canada, with this kind of stretching cold front, again, still bringing those thunderstorms and showers along it. Overall, a little bit quieter out west. Let's see if that kind of continues as we move towards the 4th. And we do begin to see some lower pressure develop in the west. We have 1,001 here over Nevada, 1,005 here in between Colorado and Kansas. And it does look like we're starting to get some humidity and moisture overall, just kind of surging to the north from the Gulf once again. Some isolated to scattered thunderstorms throughout the southeast again as well, so definitely very, very interesting. Let's take a look at the 5th here as we only get to the morning, but we do see a pocket of heavier thunderstorm activity perhaps for these central plains. Definitely something to watch in the long range. Could lead towards some severe weather, but we're going to have to watch and see, of course. For total precipitation, it's no surprise that we do actually get quite a bit here for the northwest, so some above average amounts from those northwest, Pacific Northwest areas through the northern Rockies. But the main event here is this area across the plains and Midwest throughout Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Oklahoma, northward. This is definitely an area to watch, and it's going to be really, really interesting to see what ends up happening with all of this storminess. I think multiple days of severe weather is definitely something to look out for. And as we take a look here at the temperature pattern, we see that there is some interesting temperature developments, I would say. We have mostly warmth in the east upcoming, but there is some colder air back towards the west, and it does want to infiltrate the east oftentimes. And in the longer range, like let's call it kind of May 2nd and beyond, it looks like mostly cold in the east with warmth out west. Nothing confirmed, things could change, but that's what things look like as of now. For the Storm Prediction Center outlook, we do see that there is an enhanced risk on day 1. We have the general thunderstorm areas here in the lighter greens, darker greens being that marginal risk. Yellows are a slight risk of severe weather, and then your orange areas here, which is Texas and Oklahoma, and then Kansas, we do see an enhanced risk of severe weather. Day 2, it's going to be very similar. The general thunderstorm risk areas in the lighter green, your marginal risk here, slight risk, and even an enhanced risk for the 2nd day in a row here for Nebraska, Iowa, Kansas, and Missouri. Day 3, we have another enhanced risk here, and this one's going to be for Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, and Missouri. So these similar areas seeing back-to-back-to-back days of pretty major severe weather is going to be problematic long term. Day 4 outlook here, we do have this 15% chance area over portions of the southern plains through the Midwest. This translates roughly to a slight risk, but we could see even higher in some of these areas. And last but not least, I wanted to show you guys something. This is that area of tropical disturbance. I don't think it's going to develop at all, but I think it's very interesting to see a lot of swirling going on in this area. I think our main area of concern is here, but there's not a lot of tall clouds in there, not a lot of organization, and it's not heading towards anything favorable. No surprise, it is only April 25th, but very, very interesting to see something of interest even popping up at all. And I think it's pretty telling of how favorable the conditions already are for tropical development. And that only leads me to believe that it's going to be obviously much, much, much more favorable later on in the year compared to typical. Which again is why we're looking forward towards a very, very active hurricane season. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. We do upload every single day, so be sure to subscribe for those daily weather videos. You can even hit the bell icon for daily notifications when we upload, so you never miss one. Be sure to like the video if you did enjoy it, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.